For hundreds of cycles, the Galactic Council ruled over thousands of worlds. They said violence came from loud weapons, bright fire, and fast death. So they banned guns, energy rifles, plasma launchers, pulse cannons. All were made illegal. Any race that used them would be erased or exiled beyond known space. The Council said peace would follow. Most alien races agreed. They feared guns more than enemies. Without guns, wars became slow and controlled. Armies wore thick, layered armor powered by energy fields. Battles were fought with heavy staffs, shock blades, and controlled force tools. Death became rare. Victory came from surrender, not slaughter. Over time, the Council grew proud. They believed no new threat could rise. They believed all intelligent life would follow the same path. Then the humans arrived. Their ship entered the outer system of a Council-controlled world named Varen's Reach. The ship was small, old in design, and quiet. It had no visible weapons, no gun ports, no energy signatures that showed danger. The border watchers laughed. A patrol commander named Ralvik stood on the viewing platform. His armored arms crossed. His skin was gray-blue, his eyes narrow and sharp. He had served the Council for many cycles and had never seen a real war. "Scan them again," he said. The scanners showed nothing new. No guns, no energy weapons, no hidden launch bays. "They obey the law," one officer said with amusement. If they wanted to fight, they came unarmed. Ralvik did not answer. He watched the human ship slow and request permission to land. The Council allowed it. The humans landed in an open field near the city. They stepped out in simple clothing. No armor, no helmets. They carried long, curved tools across their backs. Wood and metal mixed together in strange shapes. Alien guards surrounded them at a distance.
"Shock staff's ready. Energy shields humming softly."
A human stepped forward. He was tall, with dark hair and calm eyes. His name was Elias.
"We come in peace," Elias said. His voice was steady.
"We follow your laws." Ralvik studied him. "You carry weapons." "Tools," he said. "Not guns," the Council officers whispered. They scanned the tools again. No energy source. No explosive charge. They allowed the humans to stay under watch. For 2 days, nothing happened. Humans set up a small camp. They traded food and water. They spoke little. They did not argue. They did not threaten. They seemed almost quiet to a fault. But Ralvik kept watching. He noticed the humans trained every morning. They moved together. They ran, climbed, and practiced with their strange tools. They pulled thin metal cords back and released small metal sticks into the air. The sticks flew fast and far, striking wooden targets with deep force. Alien observers laughed again. "That would never harm armor," one said. "It is old play." On the third night, an alarm rang across the outer district. A scout patrol had failed to report. Ralvik moved fast, ordering a search. They found the patrol vehicle overturned near a rock ridge. The air was still. No burn marks.
No blast signs. Inside the vehicle, one scout lay dead.
His armor was intact. No energy shield failure.
No external damage, but his chest plate was pierced clean through.
A thin hole the width of a finger passed through layered armor, through flesh, and out the other side. "That is impossible," an officer said. "No weapon can do this without energy." They searched the area. They found something stuck in the ground behind the body. A long metal arrow. Simple, sharp, silent. Ralvek felt a chill move through his body. The council was notified. Scientists arrived. They scanned the armor again and again. No heat damage. No energy trace. Only force. Pure, focused force. The council demanded answers. Humans were summoned. Elias arrived without guards. He looked at the arrow on the table and nodded slowly. "You found one of ours?" he said. The room grew tense.
"You killed a council scout," an official said. "Explain."
No human was ordered to attack, but your scout approached our training zone at night. He moved fast. He raised a weapon. Ralvek spoke. "You claim this tool did that?" "Yes," Elias said. "That armor is rated to stop impact weapons," the official said. Elias looked at Ralvek. "Rated by who?" he asked calmly. No one answered. Elias explained that humans once relied on weapons like these before guns existed. When guns were banned in the galaxy, humans had already lost them on their own world long ago. War, limits, and survival forced them to return to older ways and improve them. Steel stronger than any alloy the Council used. Arrows shaped to spin and cut through layered defenses. Training that turned silence into power. "We did not break your law," Elias said. "We obeyed it." The council dismissed him but ordered tighter watch. That night, fear spread. Alien soldiers whispered, "If one arrow could do this, what else could humans do?" Ralvek walked alone along the city wall. He looked out toward the human camp. Fires burned low. Shadows moved with purpose. He realized something then. The council had outlawed guns because they feared loud death. They never feared quiet death. Before dawn, another alarm sounded. This time, a supply tower collapsed. 2 guards were found pinned to the wall by metal shafts, both dead, armor broken again. No sound. No warning. Panic hit the city. Humans were locked inside their camp. Shock fields raised. Drones hovered. The council prepared arrest orders. Ralvek stood before the council chamber, torn. He believed the humans had not attacked. The strikes were clean, skilled, and deliberate. Not desperate. Someone else had learned. Someone else had copied. He looked again at the arrow in his hand. Simple, deadly. Honest, the galaxy had believed peace came from removing weapons, but humans had brought proof that skill was the real danger. As the sun rose over Varen's Reach, Ralvek knew the galaxy would never feel safe again. And the humans had not even started fighting yet. The council called an emergency meeting. Alarm bells rang across Varen's Reach, and the alien leaders gathered in the glass chamber above the city. They had never seen weapons like this, weapons that needed no energy, no fire, and no loud explosions. Yet they pierced armor like paper. Ralvek stood among them, his gray-blue skin tight over tense muscles. He could not speak, only watch as council members argued. Some wanted to kill the humans immediately. Others wanted to study them. Fear and pride clashed in the room. A scientist named Boric stepped forward. His eyes were wide, his hands shaking slightly. "The armor was pierced," he said. "Layered, reinforced, field-protected armor. And yet, look at this." He held up a metal arrow. "No energy, no explosion. Nothing we know can do this." "It is impossible," the council murmured. Some whispered about spies or alien magic. Others muttered curses against humans. Elias appeared before the council, standing calmly. "You do not understand," he said softly. "This is not magic. It is simple. steel, skill, and practice. Humans learned to survive without guns long ago. We returned to old ways, but we improved them.
A council member slammed his hand on the table. You call this improvement?
This is murder. Our scouts, our soldiers, all pierced through armor. Elias nodded. We did not attack. Your patrols were careless. Your soldiers walked into our training zones at night. They saw the arrows. They did not understand, and they were pierced. That is all. Ralvek listened carefully. He had spent decades believing in the council's wisdom, yet he could not dismiss the evidence. The arrows were small, simple, and silent, yet devastating. He had seen them pierce armor, flatten shields, and kill without warning. The council demanded a demonstration. They wanted proof that these humans could do more than destroy a scout. They wanted to see, and perhaps, to humiliate them. A wide field outside the city was cleared. Aliens watched from elevated platforms, their energy shields humming softly. Humans moved in quiet precision, their steps coordinated. They carried long bows of wood and steel, strings glinting under the sun. Elias took a deep breath, nodded, and raised his bow. One arrow flew. It pierced a reinforced target clean through, leaving a perfect hole. Another arrow followed, then another. Each struck faster, sharper, cleaner than the last. The aliens gasped. Some stumbled back. The arrows spun in the air, slicing with quiet force. A target meant to stop even the strongest blows shattered. The humans did not rush. Each movement was calm, deliberate, controlled. Ralvek felt a cold sensation in his chest. This was no wild attack, no reckless assault. These humans had trained, planned, and mastered the art of quiet death. One council officer, a tall alien named Mervin, approached the demonstration cautiously. "How?" he whispered. "How is this possible?" Elias smiled faintly. "You banned guns, but you did not ban skill. We learned to survive without fire. We learned to strike where others cannot defend. Nothing more." Some aliens refused to believe it. They called it trickery. They accused the humans of hidden energy cores, secret explosives, invisible weapons. Yet the council's scanners showed nothing. No heat, no energy, no explosives, only solid metal pulled back and released with power. Ralvek moved closer. He watched as a human soldier named Kara lifted her bow. Her arrows flew with precision. She struck a moving drone, piercing it mid-flight. The drone collapsed silently. No alarm, no heat signature, only destruction. The council murmured again. They had underestimated humans. They had assumed peace meant weakness. Instead, they saw something stronger, more dangerous. Meanwhile, a small group of alien rebels watched from the shadows. They had no official position, only desire. Desire to control, to rebel against the council, to seize power. Their eyes gleamed as they studied the bows, the arrows, the humans. "If we had these," one whispered, "we could take the council in a day." Ralvek noticed them. He frowned. Fear grew inside him. Humans were not aggressive, but the technology, the skill, the silent killing power, it was tempting. Too tempting. The council ordered the humans to remain confined. Shock fields were raised. Drones patrolled the perimeter. Humans obeyed without complaint. Elias spoke calmly to Ralvek. "We have no desire to fight, but we will defend ourselves if needed." The humans returned to training within the fields, their movements precise and silent. Each arrow fired was a lesson in power and restraint. They did not boast. They did not shout. They only practiced, perfecting their skill. Then the rebels acted. In the dead of night, they stole several bows. They did not alert the council. They moved silently, shadows slipping past the human camp. They were untrained, but they had strength and greed. Ralvek realized what was happening too late. The next morning, council guards were found pierced through armor. Their bodies lay in strange positions. Arrows had struck silently from angles no one expected. Panic spread like wildfire. The council blamed the humans. Orders were issued to arrest them immediately. Shock fields were intensified. Patrols surrounded the human camp. Humans raised no arms. They moved calmly. They allowed themselves to be watched, yet never resisted. Elias approached Ralvek quietly. "They are not ours," he said. "The weapons are copied, but they do not know how to control them. They will fail if used recklessly." Ralvek nodded, torn between loyalty and understanding. The humans were not criminals, but their presence had exposed a weakness the council had ignored. The ban on guns had only forced creativity. The humans were proof of that. Council officers debated what to do next. Some wanted to destroy the humans and their bows. Others argued they were not guilty. The debate grew heated. Voices raised, and tempers flared. Meanwhile, the rebel group trained with stolen bows. They were clumsy, but they learned quickly. Their minds were sharp with ambition, sharpened by fear. They wanted to use the power they had taken to control, to challenge, to overthrow. Ralvek walked among the humans' training area. He watched Kara pull an arrow, release, and strike a target at incredible distance. He felt a mixture of awe and dread. These humans did not rely on machines. They relied on themselves. Their strength was in skill, in patience, in discipline. The council could not understand it. They had outlawed violence, yet humans proved that skill and intelligence could create weapons far deadlier than any banned device. As the day ended, Ralvek looked toward the horizon. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows over Varen's reach. He knew the humans were calm, but he felt a growing storm inside him. Something was coming. Something that could change the galaxy forever. The humans returned to their camp. They spoke little, ate in silence, and prepared for the next day. Every movement was precise, measured, deliberate. They had power, but they did not seek to show it. They had strength, but they did not misuse it. Ralvek realized that the council had feared the wrong thing. They had feared guns, fire, and loud death. They had ignored silent skill, discipline, and intelligence. The humans embodied all of that. At night, the rebel group met in secret. They discussed strategies, tested the stolen bows, and dreamed of conquest. Their eyes were bright with ambition, and their minds were full of reckless plans. They did not understand the humans, only the tools. Ralvek knew that if the rebels attacked, chaos would follow. He also knew the humans would not wait to be attacked. They would respond with precise, controlled force. The galaxy's first lesson in human skill was beginning, and no one, not even the council, was ready for it. By the end of the second part, fear spread across Varen's reach, not just of humans, but of what skill could achieve when the rules tried to suppress it. Silent weapons, careful training, and the intelligence to use them made humans unpredictable, and unpredictability terrified the council. Ralvek stayed awake that night, staring at the stars. He thought of the humans, their bows, their calm eyes, and their quiet precision. A question formed in his mind.
What would happen when the humans decided it was time to fight? No one knew.
And that uncertainty was more dangerous than any weapon ever invented. The city of Varen's Reach woke to confusion and terror. Alarms rang across the council's headquarters, and drones hovered in the sky, scanning every street. Reports came in from patrols. Armored guards fell without warning. Buildings were pierced, and quiet arrows struck from angles no one expected. Panic gripped the council. Ralvek moved quickly through the streets, his armor clinking softly. He had seen enough to know that this was no ordinary attack. Humans had not acted, yet chaos had spread. He looked toward the human camp and found the bows already in motion. But the humans moved carefully, striking only at the rebel group. Civilians were spared. Buildings were left intact. Precision, not destruction, guided them. The council had already decided to place the humans under arrest. Shock barriers surrounded the camp, and patrols braced for resistance. But Elias and his group did not resist. They stood calmly, their bows ready but unused. Elias stepped forward to speak. "We do not wish to fight," he said. "We only act to stop those who misuse our weapons." Ralvek watched closely. He could see that Elias spoke truth. The humans did not attack the council. They attacked only where necessary. Yet, the council could not understand. Fear had taken over. In the shadows, the rebel group moved with stolen bows. They were clumsy, inexperienced, but they had ambition. Their leader, a sharp-eyed alien named Torvak, whispered to his followers, "These weapons give us power. The council fears them. The humans fear nothing. We will take control, and the galaxy will follow us." A guard on patrol, a storage facility, a drone tower. Each strike was silent, deadly, and precise. The city watched in horror as armored soldiers fell with no sound, no warning. Panic spread faster than the arrows themselves. Ralvek realized that the rebels had learned quickly, too quickly. They could not match the human skill yet, but they had enough knowledge to create chaos. He approached Elias quietly. "They will attack the council next," Ralvek said. "Are you ready?" Elias shook his head slightly. "We do not fight unless necessary, but we will stop them." As the sun rose, the rebels launched a coordinated attack on the council headquarters. Silent arrows flew through windows, piercing armor, disabling drones, and creating confusion. Alarm systems failed to respond to the silent strikes. Council guards were forced to retreat into inner corridors. The humans moved alongside them, not to conquer, but to protect civilians and stop the rebels. The council had never faced an enemy like this. Their soldiers were trained for energy weapons and large attacks. They had no strategy for silent, precise strikes. Arrows cut through armor, through reinforced shields, and left officers dead in moments. Ralvek took command of a small squad to protect the council chamber. He watched as the rebels, armed with stolen bows, moved methodically. Some were clumsy, missing their targets, but others struck with terrifying accuracy. The humans intercepted where needed, disarming, redirecting, and neutralizing without killing when possible. Inside the council chamber, chaos erupted. Leaders shouted orders, but many soldiers never responded, fallen before they could act. The humans worked quietly, disabling traps, disarming stolen weapons, and guiding officers to safety. Outside, the city burned with fear. Citizens ran from streets, hiding in shelters, watching armored guards fall under invisible attack. The council realized their authority was crumbling, not because of the humans' aggression, but because they had allowed fear to dominate judgment. Ralvek found himself beside Elias as they moved through a corridor. "Your people fight with skill," he said quietly. "But why do you not dominate them?" Elias looked at him, We do not fight to dominate. We fight to stop harm. There is a difference. Power is not measured by how many fall before you, but by how many you protect. Ralvek understood then that humans had a logic the Council would never understand. Their power came from discipline, not fear. Their weapons were tools, not instruments of terror. Meanwhile, the rebel leader Torvak realized he had underestimated the humans. His followers had struck fear into the city, but they could not match human skill. Many rebels were injured, and their plans began to crumble. In desperation, Torvak ordered a direct assault on the council chamber. He believed if they took the leaders, the galaxy would follow. The humans anticipated this. Elias and Kara, another skilled archer, moved to block the hallway. Arrows flew silently, disarming, disabling, and redirecting the rebels. Not a single council member was harmed by the humans' careful strategy. Torvak fell back, furious. He had expected chaos to give him victory, but humans had turned it against him. He realized then that these silent weapons, without discipline, could be dangerous, even to those who wielded them. Ralvek watched from above as the humans guided civilians from the danger zones. They worked methodically, clearing streets, disarming traps, and using arrows only when necessary. Precision, patience, and skill defined every movement. The council, witnessing this, began to understand. Their fear of humans had blinded them. Their ban on guns had never accounted for ingenuity, skill, or intelligence. Humans had turned limits into strength, creating tools that obeyed their mind, not energy fields or explosions. As the day ended, the rebel group retreated, exhausted and humiliated. The humans did not pursue beyond necessary containment. They had proven their power, not to conquer, but to stop chaos. Ralvek walked among the streets observing the aftermath. He saw humans quietly returning their bows to racks, checking strings, sharpening arrow tips. There was no celebration, no boasting, only preparation and careful training. He realized that the humans had changed the balance of power, not through aggression, but through mastery. Their skill forced the council to confront fear, adapt strategy, and respect intelligence. In the quiet night, Ralvek spoke to Elias. The rebels will return. They will bring others. Are you ready? Elias nodded. We do not fight to start wars, but we will fight to end them. Citizens whispered about silent arrows and invisible threats. Leaders debated strategy, realizing that the galaxy could no longer ignore humans. They had come unarmed, but their skill, patience, and intelligence had shattered confidence. Ralvek looked up at the stars. He knew the humans' lesson had begun. Not with guns, not with explosions, but with discipline and quiet precision. And the galaxy had never faced anything like it. As the rebels regrouped in secret, plotting new attacks, the humans trained in the fields, calm, disciplined, and ready. The next phase of the battle was coming, but no one could predict how it would unfold. The council had learned fear. The city had seen skill. And the humans, unassuming and patient, prepared for what no one else could imagine. The galaxy would never be the same again. And the humans had not even fired their first real shot. The city of Varen's Reach was tense with fear and confusion. The rebels had retreated for now, but the council knew it was only a matter of time before they struck again. Streets were empty, patrols were doubled, and citizens whispered about invisible attacks and the deadly arrows of humans. Ralvek walked through the city, observing the aftermath of the last attack. Buildings were damaged, guards lay recovering, and the council was shaken. He had never seen anything like it. Humans had arrived without guns, Yet they had caused more fear and confusion than any army the council had faced before. He shook his head. They were disciplined, precise, and deadly, but not violent without purpose. Elias gathered his team in the quiet fields outside the city. He spoke calmly. "They will come again," he said. "We do not seek war, but we must stop them before more innocent lives are lost." The humans trained all day, their bows moving like extensions of their own arms. Arrows flew silently, striking targets with perfect accuracy. Each shot was deliberate, practiced, controlled. They were not just training for attack. They were learning to anticipate danger, protect civilians, and defend without unnecessary harm. He realized humans were not just warriors. They were teachers of strategy, patience, and intelligence. They understood how to fight without chaos, how to use skill to control outcomes rather than destruction. Meanwhile, the rebel leader Torvak gathered his followers. They were desperate, angry, and ambitious. Their last attack had failed, humiliated by humans who moved silently and struck with precision. Torvak paced back and forth, furious. "We must strike harder," he said. "We cannot let them train while we hide. If we wait, we lose." They would use their stolen bows and recruit additional forces from nearby systems. Their goal was clear: destroy the council, take control, and show the galaxy that humans were dangerous. They did not care about collateral damage or civilians. Their minds were filled with ambition and rage. Ralvek knew the humans would act. He returned to the council chamber to warn leaders. "They will attack again," he said. "The humans will not strike first, but if the rebels reach the city, they will respond."
Be ready.
Council leaders were hesitant. Some wanted to arrest the humans, blaming them for the rebellion. Others argued that humans were not the cause. Fear and uncertainty clouded their judgment. As night fell, the rebels moved. They struck quickly, silently, and efficiently. Their arrows flew through streets, through windows, and through armor. Panic spread among guards and civilians alike. Many soldiers fell before they could react. The city was in chaos, but the humans were ready. Elias and his team moved through the streets with calm precision. They did not panic. They did not shout. Every arrow they fired was calculated to stop the rebels without harming civilians. They blocked entrances, redirected attacks, and disarmed enemy combatants. Ralvek followed them, observing in awe. Humans did not rely on numbers or brute force. They relied on intelligence, anticipation, and skill. Every movement was planned. Every shot calculated. Even when facing multiple attackers, they maintained control, preventing chaos from spreading further. Torvak realized too late that the humans anticipated every move. His forces were falling apart. Many rebels were injured, some captured, others fleeing. His plan to overthrow the council was collapsing. Inside the council chamber, leaders watched the humans guide soldiers and civilians to safety. They moved like shadows, silent and controlled, yet every action was purposeful. Council members began to understand the lesson humans brought. Power did not come from loud weapons or mass destruction. Power came from intelligence, discipline, and skill. Ralvek approached Elias as they moved through a narrow alley. "Your people fight with extraordinary skill," he said. "But why do you not take control? You could dominate them easily." Elias shook his head. "We do not fight to dominate. We fight to protect. Strength without purpose is meaningless. We will act only to stop harm, not to conquer." Ralvek realized then that humans were not like any other race he had seen. They had strength, intelligence, and skill, but they used them with restraint. They were dangerous, but only when necessary. By morning, the rebels had been forced to retreat. Their plans were in ruins. Many were captured, disarmed, or too frightened to continue. Torvak himself barely escaped, his ambition thwarted by humans who did not seek victory, only peace. The city slowly began to recover. Guards returned to their posts, citizens ventured into the streets cautiously, and the council met to discuss the outcome. They were shaken, humbled, and forced to acknowledge the humans' power and restraint. Ralvek walked through the fields where humans had trained. He watched them carefully inspect their bows, repair strings, and sharpen arrows. There was no celebration, no boasting, only preparation, only quiet discipline. He understood that humans had changed the rules. They had shown that skill, intelligence, and patience were more powerful than any weapon the council had ever banned. They had proven that limits did not weaken a race. They forced it to innovate. Elias spoke quietly to Ralvek. The rebels will not stop. Others will come. We do not seek conflict, but we will act if necessary. The council must understand this. He knew the next battle would be larger, more dangerous, and more complex, but he also knew that humans would face it with skill, discipline, and intelligence. They were not reckless, they were not cruel. They were precise, patient, and unyielding when necessary. The city of Varan's Reach learned a harsh lesson that day. Fear and ambition could not overcome intelligence and discipline. Humans had arrived unarmed yet more dangerous than any gun army. Their power was quiet, their strategy was precise, and their skill was unmatched. And the galaxy had only seen the beginning. The rebels, regrouping in hidden locations, whispered fearfully of humans who could strike silently, protect civilians, and control chaos. They did not understand the humans' discipline, only their power. Their ambition was unchecked, but their skill was limited. The humans trained through the night, calm and focused, preparing for the next challenge. Every arrow, every movement, every breath was part of their strategy. They were ready for the future, quiet, deadly, and disciplined. Ralvik looked at the horizon, knowing the council had underestimated humans. They had thought unarmed meant weak. They had thought peace meant safety. They had been wrong. Humans had shown that discipline, skill, and intelligence could surpass weapons, armies, and fear. And when the next attack came, the galaxy would see it fully. The sun rose over Varan's Reach. The city was calm for now, but tension lingered in every street. Citizens whispered of silent arrows, invisible threats, and humans who moved with purpose and precision. Ralvek understood one truth. The humans were not enemies, but they were a force the council could no longer ignore. Their arrival had changed everything, and the galaxy would never be the same. The humans returned to training, silent and precise, ready for whatever came next. And Ralvek knew that when the next challenge arrived, they would be prepared. The lesson was clear. The council had feared guns, but humans had shown that true power came from intelligence, skill, and discipline. And that power, quiet and controlled, was far more dangerous than any energy weapon ever created. The city slept cautiously, the rebels regrouped, and the humans trained. The stage was set. The next battle would not just test weapons, it would test the skill, discipline, and intelligence of humans. And the galaxy had never faced anything like them. The galaxy had begun to whisper about humans, not about their ships, not about their numbers, not about their energy weapons, because they had none. The whispers were about skill, patience, and precision, about silent bows that could pierce armor, strike through shields, and change the tide of battles without a sound. Leaders across systems debated what to do. Some wanted humans destroyed before they could grow stronger. Others wanted to study them, learn from them, or even ally with them. Ralvek moved through the council halls, carrying a message he had repeated countless times. "Humans do not attack unless necessary," he said to officers who would not listen.
They protect, they train, they respond. They are not the enemy.
Many could not understand. They had seen the city of Varen's Reach fall into chaos during the last rebel assault. They had seen arrows pierce armor without energy, drones disabled without heat or explosion, and rebels disarmed without a single human harmed. The humans had shown restraint, and yet fear gripped the council as strongly as before. Meanwhile, Elias gathered his team. "The galaxy fears what it does not understand," he said. "We must show them discipline. We must show them intelligence. Our bows are powerful, but power without control is useless." Kara, one of the most skilled archers, nodded. "They fear guns, but they should fear skill," she said quietly. Humans had proven their ability to protect and to neutralize danger, but the council still debated their fate. Many leaders whispered about sending fleets to contain or eliminate them before their skill became widespread. Others argued that humans had already demonstrated their honor. They had defended the city, protected civilians, and stopped rebels without starting war. The council's debate grew heated. Ralvek intervened. "Do you see what they do?" he said. "They obey your laws better than anyone else, yet you fear them because they are clever, precise, and strong. The galaxy fears intelligence when it cannot be controlled."
Some council members scoffed.
"Intelligence is not enough," one said. "If they were truly dangerous, they would have attacked us by now." Ralvek shook his head. "Danger is not measured by attack. Danger is measured by the ability to act decisively, precisely, and without fear when the time comes. Humans are dangerous because they have control over skill, and they use it only when necessary." Elias and his team continued to train. Their arrows flew silently, striking moving targets, disabling dummies armored like council soldiers, and demonstrating perfect precision. Each shot, each movement showed discipline. Each human moved as if every step mattered, and every arrow had a purpose. Across the galaxy, rebel leaders began to hear of humans' discipline and precision. Torvak, the rebel leader who had failed at Varen's Reach, gathered his followers. "Humans are clever," he admitted, anger in his voice. "They do not strike recklessly. Their power is in skill, not weapons. We must prepare differently." The rebels trained in secret, copying the bows they had stolen, attempting to mimic humans. But skill cannot be learned in a day, and intelligence cannot be stolen. They lack discipline, patience, and understanding. Their attempts were clumsy and dangerous, often injuring themselves or others. Ralvek observed this with growing respect for humans. He realized that the true power of these people lay not in the weapon, but in the mind and training behind it. Every bowstring, every arrow, every movement was controlled. Every attack was thought through before action. The council continued to fear humans, despite evidence of their restraint. Some members argued that humans were a threat to all power structures in the galaxy. Others argued that they were proof that intelligence could replace force, but debate could not be settled easily. Elias stepped before the council to speak. "Humans do not seek war," he said. "We do not wish to conquer. We only defend, train, and protect. Your laws were meant to prevent destruction. We obey them better than anyone. But if others misuse our tools, we will stop them. That is all." Ralvek watched the council listen carefully. Slowly, some began to understand. Fear could not control intelligence. Discipline could not be banned. Skill could not be outlawed. Humans had shown that limits and rules could inspire innovation and strength. Meanwhile, rebels planned another attack, larger than before. They recruited additional fighters from distant systems and tested stolen bows and arrows. Tarvak wanted revenge and believed humans would be forced to fight. He did not understand that humans fought only when necessary, and always with precision. The humans anticipated the threat. Elias and Kara led their team in preparations. They set up training areas that simulated the city, practicing ways to intercept multiple attackers, protect civilians, and control chaos without unnecessary destruction. Each arrow, each step was rehearsed until perfect. The humans' discipline became their shield. When the rebels attacked, they were met not with chaos, but with carefully calculated responses. Humans moved quickly, silently, and with precision. Arrows disarmed enemies, blocked entrances, and forced rebels to retreat without harming the innocent. Ralvek observed this, amazed at their skill. The humans' actions were methodical. Every arrow had a purpose. Every movement prevented harm. Even the rebels could not predict their response. Humans had turned fear into control. The council finally recognized the lesson humans brought. They had feared guns, fire, and loud destruction, but humans had shown that skill, intelligence, and discipline could surpass all. Quiet, precise, controlled, and deadly only when necessary, humans were unstoppable in a way that no weapon could replicate. By the end of the day, the city of Varine's Reach was calm. Rebels were captured, dispersed, or forced into hiding. The humans returned to their camp, inspecting bows, sharpening arrows, and training quietly for the next challenge. Ralvek walked among them, observing the care and precision in every action. He understood that humans did not fight recklessly. They did not boast. They only acted with purpose and intelligence. The galaxy feared them because it could not control them, because they could not predict their next move. Elias spoke quietly to Ralvek. The galaxy fears what it cannot understand. We do not seek conflict, but we will act when necessary. Discipline and intelligence are our weapons, not violence. Ralvek nodded. He understood now that humans were not just a threat, nor just an ally. They were proof that skill, control, and intelligence could change the course of events more than armies or energy weapons ever could. The council had learned a lesson they would not forget. Fear could not stop intelligence. Rules could not stop skill. Humans had arrived unarmed, yet they had changed the balance of power across the galaxy. The rebels would return. The council would continue to debate, but the humans trained calmly, precisely, and patiently, ready for whatever challenge came next. The galaxy had been forced to recognize a new truth. Skill, intelligence, and discipline were far more dangerous than any weapon ever invented. And the humans had only begun to show it. The galaxy had changed. Word of human skill and discipline had spread to distant systems. Worlds that once laughed at unarmed visitors now whispered fearfully about the quiet bows that pierced armor, the patience that could plan for hours, and the intelligence that could anticipate any attack. The council no longer dismissed humans as harmless. They feared them, respected them, and debated how to contain them. Ralvek walked along the walls of Varen's Reach, watching the city below. Citizens moved cautiously, still shaken from previous rebel attacks. Patrols were doubled, drones hovered in the air, and every corner of the city was monitored. But humans had trained the council soldiers to see differently. They taught them to anticipate danger, to respond with intelligence, and to act with restraint. Elias gathered his team on the fields outside the city. "They will come," he said. "Many fleets, many enemies, all expecting easy victory. They do not understand our ways." Kara adjusted the string of her bow. "They think armor and numbers will protect them," she said. "We will show them otherwise." For days, the humans prepared. They trained in formations, planned ambushes, and practiced every movement until it became instinct. They did not need energy weapons, machines, or fleets. Their skill, patience, and precision were enough. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, fleets moved toward human colonies. Alien leaders, still bitter from previous failures, believed they could crush the humans before their influence spread further. Thousands of ships gathered, expecting quick conquest. Torvak, the rebel leader, had joined these fleets, seeking revenge. He believed that with numbers and stolen knowledge, humans could be defeated. Ralvek warned the council. "Do not underestimate them," he said. "They do not fight like anyone else. Their weapons are simple, but their skill is unmatched. They will not attack recklessly, but if you threaten them or innocent lives, they will respond with precision." The council hesitated, unsure how to respond. Some wanted to call for reinforcements, others wanted diplomacy, and a few, fearful of human skill, wanted to retreat. But the humans did not wait for decisions. They had already prepared defensive positions. When the first fleet approached, humans did not meet them in open space. Instead, they lured them toward asteroid belts, narrow canyons, and tight planetary terrain. Large fleets were forced into small zones where numbers mattered less than skill. Every human movement, every arrow, every decision was planned to control the battlefield without unnecessary destruction. Arrows flew silently from hidden positions. They pierced command armor, disabled officers, and disrupted enemy coordination. Drones crashed into asteroids, ships misfired due to precise sabotage, and fleets panicked at the unpredictability of human strategy. Ralvek watched in awe. The humans did not rely on mass destruction or energy weapons. They relied on knowledge, preparation, and control. Every move was calculated. Every response was deliberate. Even the most confident alien leaders faltered, realizing that their ships and armor could not match human skill. On the ground, Kara led a team that intercepted landing parties. However, arrows moved faster than the eye could follow. Each shot disarmed, disabled, or neutralized enemies without harming civilians. Humans used the environment, terrain, and timing to their advantage. Torvak's rebels fell first, their stolen knowledge useless against disciplined skill. Elias moved among the humans, coordinating attacks and rescues. Civilians were guided to safety, buildings were protected, and enemies were neutralized quietly. No explosion, no fire, no chaos. Precision ruled every action. The council finally understood the lesson humans had brought from the beginning. They had outlawed guns, thinking energy weapons caused violence. But humans had shown that intelligence, skill, and discipline mattered more than any banned tool. They had arrived unarmed, yet they controlled entire battlefields with calm, silent precision. Torvak, realizing his failure, tried to regroup. He ordered a direct assault on human command points, but Elias anticipated each move. Arrows flew from multiple angles, disabling leaders and forcing retreats. Every action was a lesson in control. The humans did not act out of anger or fear. They acted with purpose, intelligence, and discipline. Ralvek walked among the city ruins, observing the aftermath. He saw humans quietly repairing bows, sharpening arrows, and preparing for the next encounter. There was no celebration, no boasting, only readiness and focus. He realized that the human strength was not in weapons, ships, or numbers, but in their discipline and intelligence. By the end of the day, fleets had retreated, rebels were captured or fleeing, and the council was forced to surrender. Their authority remained, but their arrogance was broken. They had witnessed firsthand that humans could control chaos, protect the innocent, and neutralize threats with skill alone. Elias addressed the council. "We do not seek conquest," he said. "We only act to prevent harm and stop those who misuse power. Your laws were meant to protect, but fear cannot control intelligence. We obey the law better than anyone, yet we are prepared to act when necessary. That is our way." The council nodded, humbled. The galaxy had learned a new truth. Unarmed did not mean weak, and discipline could surpass armies. Humans had arrived with simple bows, yet they had defeated fleets, disarmed rebels, and changed the balance of power forever. Ralvik observed as humans returned to their training fields. Each arrow, each movement was deliberate. Each human worked to improve, anticipate, and prepare. They had shown the galaxy that skill, intelligence, and discipline were more dangerous than any banned weapon. Across the stars, other alien leaders whispered fearfully of humans, who did not need guns, fleets, or energy weapons. They knew that when humans acted, they acted with precision, patience, and intelligence. They could strike silently, defend strategically, and protect with purpose. The galaxy had seen what humans could do when pushed. They had arrived under the council's scrutiny, unarmed, yet they had shattered assumptions, defeated enemies, and demonstrated that limits could create strength and discipline could create power beyond imagination. Ralvik walked at the edge of the city, looking toward the horizon. The humans trained, prepared, and waited. He knew that the galaxy had only begun to understand the lesson they brought. Skill, intelligence, and discipline could not be banned, controlled, or predicted. They were a force the galaxy could respect, fear, and learn from. The humans had arrived with bows, quiet and precise. They had pierced armor, defeated armies, and protected the innocent. They had changed the balance of power, not with fire or explosions, but with discipline, intelligence, and skill. The galaxy would never forget them. And the humans were only beginning.